Store.
Oh, I got it going for the cloud.
It's just 13 WOWKTV 13 News, I guess somewhere in West Virginia or somewhere. Their site looks like one of those stupid clickbait sites. Literally. Uh for the folks. It literally looks like one of those clickbait sites. Granted, it's probably all video news, but it looks like one of those clickbait sites. I don't want to touch your links.
Yeah. That's how it is with a lot of those news sites, like especially those things that really focus on nerd and geek culture. Like
No,
anymore, you click on anything, it's going to take you God knows where.
let's see here.
It is what it is, what it is, so to speak.
Okay. And even HuffPost is what's that the whole aspect of? Golly gee, everybody clicks on those stupid sketchy clickbait sites that give your computer viruses. Let's mimic that.
That's how they make ad revenue.
Well, did I know those clickbait sites, that's how they make ad revenue. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
sites like the one I just showed you and the HuffPost to do that. If you nobody wants to click on those sites, only freaking idiots click on those sites. I'm not saying HuffPost is any better, but
It's like anything with movie or gaming news now. It's
and it's a video.
oh, I hate when it's a video.
No, it's like, well, it's a video. Like I want we're not doing yeah, it's a video podcast, but we're not doing we don't have versus hero. Where's it located? Okay, we'll do that because it's in well, it's not we because we're in essence we are recording. It's like, well, we're going to put this as weird news because we're the normies. That's not what, folks. This is why we go straight. I go straight to Florida because that's where the weird stuff happens, and it's easy, simple. Not this. Hey, weird. I search weird West Virginia news, and what comes up? Oh, three. Two people save a cat from a burning building dressed as superheroes. Really? Give me something better. Better. Like somebody kills somebody with a squirrel. That's something I want to talk about.
Nope.
Why is Podbean popping up on my ads? It's like I already use Podbean. Shocking stories. See, let's see. Pod. Again, that's how is that? None of this is odd. It's like it's everyday things. Like woman wanted for murder, break silence, and shooter convicted. That's not odd. Running word animals, man. Okay.
People, I got one from space. Space is weird.
Okay. We'll do that. It's from 2018, but we'll work with it.
Here, something recent.
It's West Virginia. It's funny and not overly weird, and it almost ranks as Florida man levels or Florida person levels. So, and this upcoming folks at home, upcoming, and to warn Sasha, I'll probably on Saturday be living off of. Good chance by the time nighttime hits on Saturday, my blood will probably be 45% dubby.
WWWW. And there's one from Florida for you. The bunnies. Bunnies, it must be bunnies.
Oh, somebody has a quest in space.
I guess
Let's take a look at the space one.
we got an outlaw otter as well. Because people like animals.
All right. Can I look at the? There we go. I guess we go. Well, it's interesting, but it's like, well, when you look into the article, it's and all. I guess we could go. It's science and technology and news, but well, all right. We could go with.
Dick, I'm just sending you stuff.
We could go with the question mark seen in space, or West Virginia man accused of huffing paint and beating mother with spatula.
I want to go with the West Virginia. Even though there's one to end off summer on. Could you imagine being trapped upside down for hours on a roller coaster?
I used to like going on roller coasters.
Al's constantly trying to get me to go, and it's like, take me to a place where it's certainly not safe, and I might be interested.
Like, Al, put me on that roller coaster. That one's for kids. Well, at least I know I'm not gonna be trapped upside down. And with probably Tuesday when I come back from laundry, I'll start packing at least the overnight bag and that aspect of things.
Yeah, I got most of the stuff packed and ready for this weekend. I got it down to a bag because I figure the Friday night before Al's gonna pick me up early, or I'll just catch a ride up to Al's that evening. Just stick my bag in Mom's car or something and catch a ride. That way he doesn't have to drive down. I mean, he's got to drive down anyway to come get you, but it'll save a couple steps so we don't have to get like a hotel room or something midway. And that's if he gets out of work early.
There's one of the things I was debating. It's like right now I'm kind of like, should I? Shouldn't I? Part of me wants to bring the laptop and the mixer, load the drivers for the mixer on the laptop, and that way when I score the panels, I could make sure everything is good audio, or just add a secondary mic and just use what I got.
I
So
would
I'm just
honestly, I would honestly just guerrilla journalist it because I don't know what if any connections they'll allow you to make, and then that way you just have the bare bones, you know.
just add the other mic and the stand for it and use this and just all right, we're just recording audio. Can I do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna have my camera and stuff with me too, so and
No,
Alan's so
it's not just that. It's just that I could do the video. The camera that I use for everything else is does audio well as well. Just that to like record the panels and all that. That's what I was thinking. So uh, I'll I'll probably just keep it down that so I not worried about a $300 laptop and a $400 mixer. So and I'll just
and they
everything's
had
here.
said, at least from what I understand, that like our tickets are gonna serve for parking. But I wonder, and again, this is a long shot. I wonder if that parking is something that we can leave our cars there overnight or anything of that nature. Like if we want to go into Harrisburg after the con, like, catch an Uber or, a metro or something into
Yeah,
Harrisburg proper to do some exploring, maybe hit an arcade, go and grab a drink somewhere, or get some food.
yeah, that'd be the case. I don't want to leave like $600 worth of $700 worth of stuff in the car and come back to the car and all of a sudden it's gone.
Well, that's why I had Al clean out like the trunk and everything else and make sure everything's nice and secure. And you got to figure there's probably going to be somebody there at all times for the convention. So, I mean, I don't foresee it being that big of a problem. We haven't had a problem yet, but yeah, I wouldn't definitely like leave it on the back seat or the front seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even though it's going to be in the bag, and I just consider it. I live in Martinsburg of all places, and they'll smash a car window for a toothbrush, but oh, they have a toothbrush. Even though I could get it for free at down at this location,
That
smash.
could
I got me a
happen
toothbrush.
at the 7 hours while we're at con too. It's a gamble
Uh,
either way.
yeah, either way, but and more than likely that it here in Martinsburg they'll do something stupid. I mean, dumber than usual.
Yeah, true.
That's why I usually tell folks, yeah, Martinsburg, they suffer from Martinsburg moron syndrome. Or if you're in the townie, Martinsburg meth head syndrome.
Whoop whoop. Indeed.
Like, no, we don't. Have you been in downtown Martinsburg? No, I go to Winchester for all my fun stuff. Exactly. That's why everybody else does too.
Woo, Winchester. You got
And
to do the little W.
Winchester.
Where are we going?
Winchester.
That's how it used to be when I lived out in Berkeley Springs because, like, yeah, there's some cool stuff in Berkeley Springs, but once you live down there and it's the same shit every weekend, so I'd be asked, by my spouse at the time, what are we gonna do for fun this weekend? And I'd just be like, Winchester. We got the Alamo, and you've got the family driving just outside of Winchester. I mean,
Yeah. Remember that unboxing I want to do at Four State with you? Yeah, it hasn't arrived yet.
okay.
The it's just one of those things that it keeps getting. It's to the point that everybody in the group, Facebook group, is putting on tinfoil hats. It's that bad. It's like,
Oh, we're going into conspiracy theory.
it's like the boat that it was supposed to have this everybody's order in the state arrived in like Oregon, it was either arrived in Washington, Oregon area in port. It offloaded that trailer. We got no word from the company saying, hey, it arrived in the States. It's being offloaded. It's going through customers. We're going to do the quality control. And because of all the issues, we heard no official word yet. And we don't know what's happening. If it's in the States, nobody's gotten theirs in the States yet. People in not China, people in like Hungary, France, Australia, Africa, India's gotten theirs, but the States, no, no. Matter of fact, people have ordered the same type of dice off of like Wish and Temu and gotten theirs before everybody else. And it's a better quality. So it's like, we don't know what's going on. And some people are saying, like, yeah, they're going to Ponzi scheme it. They're going to start a new Kickstarter for the same type of dice so they could, once all the dice is made and perfected because of how they screwed up the last batch, they're going to send everybody all that dice. If it's like 5,000 orders that were done, they're going to send all that to the people that really wanted theirs, and they're going to put everybody else in the lurch. It's like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I might have to do the video in 2 parts because it's going to be like an hour-long video. It's like, I got to do this in 2 parts. C4 part 2 for unboxing, part 1 for the history. Or either way, it's going to be like one of those. And folks at home, depending on when you... I already did a video for context because what I picked up, I don't have it with me, but last week I picked up a book. It was on sale for $10 online. With shipping, it was 25. In regards to, it's one of these like a preview copy. Best way I could put it out. It's what something like reviewers would get. It's just
Stepping up in the world.
basically. Oh, where you getting your phone?
Yeah.
Basically, it's one of those. I guess they had a bulk stock of this preview copy, and it's just like, okay, we made some changes for the final book. This is pretty much a book that we sent out to people reviewing it, if there was a major influencer that they want to get their hands on it and try it out. It's something like that for testers and previewers. The graphics are not the best, or it's a little, or the graphics on the cover might be a little bit cockeyed. It's not the final product. We understand that, but we're just offering it up as a discount. So that's why one of the reasons, one, I got it for $10. Two, I realized once I had it in my hands, this could be a great context video for what I'm about to receive. That way it's like, hey, you have they sold this knowing that it was not the best copy. It's not, and it's something that you're actually knowing you're getting yourself into, if you can understand. And after that, with this, everybody says, oh, this is going to be the perfect thing ever. Now it's not. So either way, where's the mask? Either way,
I'm just looking through
looking through what?
articles. See if there's
Or
anything
article.
that points out. Everybody's gaga about Ashoka.
Despite people leaving.
Pennsylvania restaurant named one of the best for French fries in America. Well, that's hard to believe. I mean, not that it's hard to fry a potato. I'm looking. So the Good, Bad, and Ugly in Westchester, PA, located at 158 West Gay Street. And it's only open like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But apparently they're the best fries. That's not much of a story. Must be a slow news week. There is a new high-end Ghostbuster soup brand known as Ectoware. So if you want,
Yeah, I heard about that. I'll stick with the man beats person with special.
No. I'm just looking for other stuff that we can discuss. But we'll go with it. We'll talk about stuff on four state, what we're expecting, who all we're gonna run into. I know Trevor's showing up, so we might be able to get a nice little cameo with him at some point. He's supposed to get in touch with me sometime before 6:30, because I'm supposed to sit down and watch a bunch of Fulci with him.
He wants to watch a bunch of what?
Fulci.
Opchi?
Yeah, Fulci is one of
Oh,
those
Fulci.
Italian film directors, and he kind of did technically it was put out before Dawn of the Dead was released, but due to the popularity of Dawn of the Dead stateside, it kind of became Zombie 2. Because basically when Dawn of the Dead came out, it was titled Zombie Overseas, and then Fulci released his movie, even though it was in production before Dawn, and it got retitled Zombie 2 due to similar themes. Even though it kind of plays with the concept of occult zombies and flesh-eating ghouls kind of combined. And about like the voodoo black magic zombies where they're not really undead beings, but it mixes that concept with undead ghouls. It's a weird fusion, but that kind of led to its whole other like bunch of zombie films that was exclusive to basically, Italy and foreign markets, but obviously they got reissued to the States and dubbed and kind of became cheapo drive-in fare. And they kind of have a loose connection to each other, but definitely declining quality after the first Fulci zombie movie. Very weird, but he wants to get into that. I call it the zombie hole because it gets very confusing. I've tried to get them all on DVD and Blu-ray, but I wound up with a bunch of duplicates because the American distributors of the films either insist on labeling them the same way they were labeled overseas, or you'll get a few that insist going by the American labeling, where overseas Fulci Zombie is Zombie 2, but here it's just called Zombie. And it kind of messes up the numbers because Zombie 2 over there would be Zombie 2 there, or rather, Zombie 3 there would be Zombie 2 here. And yeah, it just befuddles everything. And because there's no cohesion in plot, they don't share a lot of elements or characters, there's really no way to tell what came first. There's even one called, I can't remember what number it is. It might be Zombie 5, The Killing Birds, where it's like a mix of undead plus the movie The Birds. Interesting concept, but not well executed. If you watch Phalos videos at all, like he does knockoff toy reviews, he has this thing he calls the Galaxy Hole, which it deals with the Galaxy Warriors, which were knockoff He-Man toys, and all the permutations of that line of knockoffs, because they would just simply change the heads and stuff around. I mean, it would still be like the trunks and the rubber band bodies, the big muscly arm, but they'll stick like a turtle head on them, or they'll give them futuristic gear and kind of make them Star Wars inspired, or they'll turn them into wrestler figures. it's Suffice to say, he has made over 28 videos just on that alone, because that hole is deep. And I could probably do the same with the Italian zombie cycle, because it's a mess, especially when you throw it in with the American distributors. Hell, like in Spain, like the movie House over there is known as La Casa, and La Casa kind of spawned its own sequels. And then somehow some of the Evil Dead movies got mixed in with La Casa. So in Spain, there is this really weird series called La Casa that kind of fuses a couple of different horror franchises together that have no reason to be related. It's
Heck,
a mess.
heck, the House franchise is even screwed up here in the States because you have House 2. Then if you want to go by the titles, it jumps straight to House 4, but House 3 is like a different title altogether.
The horror show. They wanted to make it its own franchise, even though it's about an executed murderer that haunts the cop that helped him get executed in their home. And it all ends with one of those fake out scares, or one of those fake outs where everything's resolved and nobody's dead. And it's like, really? Gave me such a wonderful body count, and now it's resolved. Like it never happened. And it's like,
it was all a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it when people blame, what was it? Newhart and Sopranos for creating that. There's been series that have done that trope and movies that have done that trope.
It was Dallas that pretty much first done it like that. Was like the whole season was a dream. So,
well, that's what happens. You paint yourself into a corner.
Yeah, they painted themselves in a corner. It's like, we can't get out of this. We need this person back. Low ratings. Oh, we know what we can do. It was all a dream. At the end of the season,
Roseanne eventually did it.
At the end of the series, he didn't. He actually died. We didn't win the lottery. He had a heart attack.
The whole new series.
Yeah,
none of it happened.
In fact, none of it happened. That last season didn't happen. Then, then Roseanne
dies.
She dies because, or at least in the show, because she took too much medication and therefore allegedly took too much medication and went on a very non-politically correct tirade on Twitter or someplace, and studios didn't like it, and she got canceled, and not the show, she got canceled.
Yep.
So, and the show got rebranded as The Connors.
Yep.
And still
refused to accept that as part of the series. And yeah. Oh my. But anyways, you got your Lumser on board.
Yeah, I'm just refilling.
You're collating.
I'm collating. Sorry, W, I'm not drinking your stuff. I'm saving that for 4 State. I'm drinking off-brand Coke.
Off-brand Coke?
Off-brand.
Once you get it from Dollar Tree, you're okay.
It's from Weiss.
Okay. Well, I don't have that metallic taste.
If I'm going to be hyper and acting like I'm on cocaine, like I never did cocaine, but if I'm going to be that hyper, it's going to be because I OD'd on W Energy this weekend. So,
yep, he hasn't had a heart attack yet, but guess what? It's his turn.
It's going to be my turn. Come back to work like a month later. What happened to you? I partied too hardly at 4 State.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
That's
to get
what
on
happened.
Al about 5-hour energies while we're down there. Because he goes through them like you would not believe. And it's like, dude, that can't be good for you. It's like
Drinking
work
like
less.
drinking like 3 or 4 of these in a row of any type of energy drink, whether it be G Fuel, Monster, or anything like that, is probably not good for you. And I'll drink it like water.
Gonna stunt your growth. W, it
Chris,
stunts your growth.
Rev, why is the whole aspect of your metabolism off the charts in regards to you're burning through calories so damn fast? W. I got to switch to the diet, G Fuel. Now it's time for you all at home to prove whether or not I'm doing a lion face, lemon face,
Lemon face.
lion face.
Lion face. All right. Lumser, I'm bored. What plaything do you have to offer me today?
Something more audio on. No, just kidding. Something out of the SK system, ma'am. And it's not from Florida this week. It's by Joe. It's from the other place that wants to be Florida, West Virginia. So,
I'll make you squeal,
well,
piggy.
squeal. Well, I don't know where St. Albans is, but apparently
What was it at?
St. Albans, it just says ST period ALBANS. So St.
St.
Albans.
Albans. Yeah,
Albans.
St. Albans, yeah. I want to say it's like middle of the state.
The article is West Virginia man was arrested and charged with beating his mother in the head with a heavy duty spatula after allegedly huffing paint. Well, I think they should have put that allegedly a little bit. No, it's not. The huffing paint is alleged. The beating his mother in the head with a heavy duty spatula is confirmed.
I can see him now. No, I wasn't huffing paint. I was
Huffing paint? No.
Paint thinner than gasoline.
Is that paint thinner than gasoline? No, that's my moonshine. Says according to a criminal complaint, the 30-year-old is charged with felony malicious wounding. It must have been one hell of a spatula, I'll tell you that, if it's able to wound somebody with it.
Right? It's not one of them rubber jobs. Oh God, was it one of them metal jobs? It's got like the edge on it that you can cut with. No wonder.
It just says again. It doesn't say. It said dispatchers say a woman told them that she was hit in the head with a heavy duty spatula by her son and was bleeding badly.
But the spatula companies are all like, "Was it one of ours? Can we use this in advertising? Strong enough to beat your mother with."
It says police found the person sitting on a bench in the front yard. The person had a large amount of silver spray paint on his face and a steel bar in his hands.
He was shiny and chrome. Glorious day.
The police say they had numerous work-related encounters with this person and were aware he frequently huffs spray paint. And it says if he's convicted, he could face 2 to 10 years in prison.
I watched that Mad Max Fury Road, and I was like, I gotta try that. Oh God. West Virginia, no.
Yeah.
Please do not
But
stop this from letting Furiosa the movie happen because I want to see Furiosa. Just because somebody was huffing silver spray paint does not mean it's a reason to cancel the movie. Oh God.
and I saw that one documentary of the wild. It's like wild something of West Virginia. It was done by one of the folks from Jackass. I'm like, oh my God. Uh, Forgot what it was. It was on Netflix. It's been a long time. It when somebody brings it up and it's like, yeah, I seen that too.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this
This
is West
is
Virginia.
the right. And the family that they were following, they were like, it's like in this really rural town in West Virginia, and they're all a bunch of I'll say it like this, alleged at the time, alleged drug addicts and so forth and so on. And one of them makes everybody here in West Virginia look like a Playboy model. And she's like, yeah, I'm the most successful of the group of the family because and the prettiest because I earn the most stripping. I'm like, oh my God. No, no, I would no. The only money I'd be giving you in regards to stripping is to go away.
Go away.
Best way to put it, you've seen South Park before,
Yeah.
right? You know
Oh,
the
yeah.
running gag, the like the running gag every time they go to like a strip joint, they have that one dancer. It's like dance, dance. Anybody want to dance? It's like that.
It's like Squidbillies. Where he's
Yeah,
at the strip club.
dance.
Hot damn. It's on like Michelle Kwan.
No, it's like anybody else is no, no. It's like you're making that person look good. No,
Where's my party liquor? Oh,
oh,
it always comes back to the party liquor. So, anyways,
anywho,
dramatic pause. Cue the music.
and you are
Well, as always, you are watching Sasha After Dark, the podcast of darkness. Even though it's not after dark today, it's just a little bit after 1 o'clock, almost 2. Getting this out of the way early, and just in case I get stuck watching a Fulci marathon. I, of course, am Sasha, the Princess of Darkness. And with me, as always, is my co-host, the Martinsburg Madman himself, Christopher Lumser. And I'm going to let him get out his because he's got to plug his plugs for the Dubby and the Long Coat Mafia podcast and the rest. So we'll roll that beautiful bean footage.
look a plug. No, but don't know how those look. Look,
we don't kink shame if you want to show those plugs off.
Now, can I plug it back in? No, I can't. There we go. But I'm found on iTunes, the audio side, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, the usual hangouts. Plus, I as well have a YouTube channel. Sasha has all the links.
Yep.
And so forth and so on. I am the internet's most hated mafia themed geek podcaster. That, according to some, because we haven't said this in a while, according to some, is a manifesto for mass shooters. By the as per those who never listened to an episode of
our
show. So,
and hey, I am Pennsylvania's most hated trans pan horror hostess, who's too adult for Blobfest. The certain cuckolded spouse of a very popular Pennsylvania horror host. Emphasis on the cuckold, but we don't kink shame. We just call it quality people making an upgrade.
That be the case if you are a Lucy Lou, you please feel no. One man's kinks is another person's downgrade.
Punishment.
But I also have in regards to if you want to help support the show, as always, you could buy from our partner slash sponsor, non-sponsor. I won't say non-sponsor. We haven't earned a dime from them yet. W Energy. Just head to dubby.gg and enter in code LCM podcast for 10% off your order. Go to Sasha's OnlyFans in regards to supporting her there, and I do have a Patreon. It's only $3 a month, and you get content there. I have to kind of upgrade it and post more there. And we also have a tip jar. If by Joe, we get enough money over the next couple of days, whenever you hear this or see this, all funds go to gas monies, upgrades for the show, extras for the show, and having fun. So, and we're not going to just pocket the money and run off like some people with their cryptocurrency scams, but alleged currency scams, but we use it for actual equipment, keeping the lights on, so forth and so on, and bringing you this marvelous content,
and
booze, and not to mention, if we hit certain goals, you'll actually see us get tattoos, goofy content, and so forth and so on, that you just have to contribute with that. We know money's tight, so every dollar counts, but if you cannot donate, as always, listen, sharing the post and getting the word out there always counts.
And the best part of it is like right now, on my OnlyFans, I am offering a free 30-day trial. So if you want to hop on, get a free 30-day trial, great. And if I see you hop on there and you get a free 30-day trial, I'll probably hop on and reduce the subscriptions down to the lowest price possible monthly. So it's like 35% off. I think what 35% off $5 is, math. It'll be like $3 and some change total a month, which is still cheap. And yeah, so again, it's not like I'm telling you to spend $20-$30. $3.25. That's not even a Coke at the movie nowadays. It's not even a pack of cigarettes. It's not even a gallon of gas.
And you have to think, some cryptids out there want you to spend $3.50 or $3.50.
$3.50.
Damn, not $3.50.
I mean, most people want $5
Who's that? That's the Loch Ness Monster. He keeps wanting $3.50.
Something like $3.50.
$3.50.
From some Paleozoic era.
Damn you, South Park, penetrating our pop culture like that.
So, one of the first things I want to kind of address, because we were talking about streaming last episode, it seems like we've been talking a lot about streaming. But let's go back to Netflix, because Netflix, in and of itself, and you got to understand, they started out as the killer app that killed the video store.
Yeah.
And it wasn't streaming that killed the video store. Oh, no. It was the mail order DVD and Blu-ray service. Of course, at the time, it was just DVD. I want to say they got started in 96, 97. But you'd hop on a computer, you would say what movies you wanted, they mailed it out. The system was a bit archaic back then. But you get the movie. Once you're done with it, you send it back. They'd send you another one in your queue, whatsoever. And they slowly started to phase it out when they introduced streaming, and which was cool because when you initially had your option to rent DVD and Blu-rays, basically when streaming was introduced, it was like a free add-on. Here's some of the content that we have that you can watch for free because you get DVDs and Blu-rays from us monthly. It was a free service that was part of their DVD and Blu-ray rental. And they didn't have original content then, so I can kind of understand where they're coming from with charging eventually. But even then, I always thought it was kind of unfair. And slowly over time, they have been killing their own DVD and Blu-ray service. To the point now that it is officially ending in this September. So if you're not part of DVD.com, which is part of Netflix, into September, it's gone. But what's
which is kind.
interesting, they
I'm
have,
surprised.
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm surprised that they are killing. It's probably too expensive, but considering there are some parts of the United States that they're they either A don't have high speed internet or they don't, yeah, there are spots of the United States they're still on dial up and you can't stream anything on dial up, period.
Right.
And therefore having that option, if you have ability to get online, going to DVD.com and getting those DVDs mailed to you is great convenience, because that's what, part of one of my arguments is with a lot of folks. It was like, oh, things are too expensive for you, move closer to your job. There's a lot of folks you don't have that option of, it's when you do that, the costs go up. Meaning, if I have a job and if I get a job in DC, I'm staying here. Things are cheaper here in Dirtyburg. Moving to DC, where rent starts out at maybe $2.5 grand a month,
Right.
it is not going to be any cost efficient. Where milk here is at $3 a gallon at the cheapest spot, there it's probably $4.50. Why do I want to move closer? And yet these folks that are in the western part of the United States, it's especially nowadays at picking up and moving is with inflation not a good idea. You're kind of stuck there right now, and having things mailed to you is a good idea. I'm sure there's still a lot of mom and pop DVD play rentals out there, but for somebody that is homebound and just able to get out to the mailbox and back is easy for them.
Exactly.
Maybe they're elderly or they're handicapped in some way, or they don't have public transportation.
And from what I've read, they've weighed the options on that. And I guess either they've decided that people nowadays have way too many of these, and so they figure they can stream the movie through their cell phone service and eat the hell out of their data, which sucks. Or they feel that, hey, yeah, it's a small area, but the general store also provides rentals. There's places up in Alaska that still provide rentals, in places where the internet just tanks. And the thing of it is that we are moving closer to where internet's going to be more accessible to people, because as you may or may not know, the old analog TV signal that used to run all of the channels back in the day, can't UHF and what was it, VHF?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think UHF is more popular because of not just Weird Al's movie, but it's more pop culture ingrained.
But they're getting rid of that signal, and they're going to use that signal to provide wireless internet to the rest of the world that don't have easy access. Because even in those places that don't have the best or the greatest, they could at least throw up a antenna and catch something digitally that way. And that's kind of like their line of thinking at the moment. Personally, now they've got a lot of people off of the old analog channel. Makes me want to make a pirate analog station just for fun. But the kicker of it is that they weighed it and they're like, hey, yeah, this isn't a large percentage of our market. We're going to basically consider it a wash. Which to a degree is unfair if you live in those areas, which I 100% agree with. But from a business aspect, if we're already making very little money off of the DVD and Blu-ray service as is, and we're planning on killing it because it costs us more to keep it than to run it. I mean, basically, from what I've been reading, it's not so much that it's costing them, but they're consistently not well in the black, but they're not in the red either. They're break even. they're at that break even point where they're not making anything on it, and it's vestigial at best to them from a business aspect, and it sucks. But there are other people that have taken up that niche, be it Redbox, even though I've seen less and less red boxes lately. Like I went into Walmart recently and the red boxes that were there gone. I noticed when I went to, because I live in Chambersburg, the Chambersburg Walmart gone. The Shippensburg Walmart, no red box. And then when I went into Carlisle, same thing. And I'm like, where are all the red boxes?
I know there's a red box by a Family Dollar near me. But beyond that, I haven't checked the Walmart that I normally go to.
Okay,
But
you'll have to give it a look because I haven't
I
seen
have to
them
give it a
in
look.
Giants anymore. Now they may have moved them inside more where I'm not used to looking because they used to be right near the entrances when you first
Right.
walked in, which is the greatest impulse place to get them. I know a few Walmarts have put them up toward the registers, but again, if you're not shopping, do you really want to walk the whole way through the store to get to the red box? Probably not.
The
I
red
get it
boxes,
from I get it from a marketing aspect, but
the red boxes that were in the Walmart by me were the ones by the soda machines. Go
yeah,
in, get it, get a Coke, get a Coke, get a Pepsi,
yeah, and usually
and get
those
a
are
movie.
out by the entrances as you're coming in or leaving.
Right.
Yeah, they've moved some of them in like right near where the quick checks are, or where some of the other like the pharmacy registers and
Right.
stuff are. So like as you're walking out, it's right there. But I don't know. I haven't looked past those areas, so they might have just moved them further inside. But I haven't seen as many red boxes around, at least in my area.
And the downside is something that we covered before is that when you have streaming services like Netflix or like Disney or what have you that has their own content, like upcoming with Disney, Ahsoka's coming up as per this recording in a few days. Uh, Netflix has Stranger Things, and that's something outside of what we have planned to talk about. I want to get into that a little bit. They're not putting out hard copies for those shows, or that content.
That's another thing I'm gonna cover here in a little bit because I was shocked to see something happen recently while I was looking through
Uh,
articles yesterday.
I,
So we'll put a
I'm
thumbs
just,
back into that.
but
But
it's that aspect. It's like when you have that's just two examples. I'm not saying they. It's like when you have streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, or Paramount Plus, or Max saying, "Yeah, we have our own content, but we're not going to put it on DVD."
right,
It in essence, you are hurting folks that go to a library to rent videos, or a mom and pop shop that is renting videos. It allows them to get watch Stranger Things, Ahsoka, or Mandalorian, or whatever or the iCarly reboot in a way,
right.
whatever you want to watch. And
But in the day, it seems like a lot of these businesses are kind of severing their ties with physical media, which kind of blows. And as a result, since Netflix is ending DVD.com, they are basically, because a lot of people like me who love physical media, that way when I have it, I have it. I can watch it anytime I want. I just pull out the disc up until it gets disc rot. I have that movie for however long. Of course, I make archive copies. I keep spare hard drives and hold on to those movies. But the thing of it is basically, a lot of us people who love physical media have been chomping at the bit to get at this library, because a lot of us assume that when Netflix ends the DVD and Blu-ray service, that they were going to sell these outright to the public, liquidate the assets. Because I would hate for them to look up some of the prices of movies that I know that they have in their catalog that could bring some major money. They probably are going to wind up doing that. We're going to see a lot of eBay and Amazon sales that come from Netflix, which wouldn't shock me. But what the trip is if you're still a member of DVD.com, and no, you can't run in and try to sign up for it now. I've tried. Um, but the thing of it is that if you're a member by the end of September, if there's anything still left in your queue, they're going to basically send anywhere from one disc, be it Blu-ray or DVD, or up to 10 from movies based on your queue that are available to you. So you'll get one last shipment of either 1 or 10 Blu-rays and DVDs, and you don't have to return them. They're just giving them to you. And
I guess it all depends on availability in regards to who gets what.
yeah, but even then, it's like that just seems kind of dirty. I mean, are they able to go in and load up their queue? Because they should be able to, to some degree. And that was one of the things I always had a problem with the DVD.com service when it was still Netflix. You never know how long in line you're waiting for a particular title. They did allow you to set up your queue and then first available. But I don't know how they're going to do this because, again, they're offering 1 to 10 discs. I mean, who's going to get the 1? Who's going to get the 10? And it just seems like a dumb way of handling it. Yeah, that's a great courtesy to the customers. But if you were renting 1 at a time, they used to do 5 at a time. That's why I quit doing Netflix, DVD, and Blu-ray, because the 5 at the time, even though it was a little bit more, I could get all 5, rip all 5, send all 5 back, and get another 5 within a week. And that way it increased my archive library so I can watch them whenever I wanted to. But the thing of it is they slowly reduced it down to 3 and then down to 2. And I think it's only like 1. And I mean, that kind of blows. It's like, why does it matter if I'm getting 1 or 5 DVDs at a time or Blu-rays at a time? Might as well just let them all have 5 and be done with it. But the service is ending, and this is what they're choosing to do. And everybody's just questioning how they're going to handle it. And Netflix is just like, we'll just send it out randomly. Good luck. May the odds ever be in your favor.
Makes me wish I still had that aspect of Netflix added to my account if I was still a member of Netflix. And that way it's like, hey, I have another chance of doing it this September, doing another unboxing. The mystery box from Netflix. Watch, it's only one DVD.
Yeah.
Knowing my dumb
Al
luck.
still has DVD.com, and he just has a bunch he hasn't watched or sent back yet. And I'm like, again, stop working all the time. But side rant. But anyway, I'm curious what he'll get if he sends back those 4 or 5 discs he has floating around the house, or he'll just be told to keep those 4 or 5 discs. I guess we'll wait and see. We'll find out from Al officially.
I'd say personally he should hold on to them, and when September hits, see what emails he gets from DVD.com or Netflix, and consider, and for your end, my recommendation is that's a video idea right there. It's like, I know you don't do unboxings on your channels, but hey, the mail-shaped thing in my life had these, and these particular DVDs sitting in the back, that you were supposed to send in from to DVD.com. Let's see how many he got from DVD.com and just open it up. But do it as a short if you could do it under a minute.
But and it's not that I don't do unboxing. It's just the fact that if I did unboxings, I'd want to do a fail bag, which is like a mail bag. But given some of our commentators and some of the a-holes that we have to deal with, I'm kind of like, I don't want to even give them a PO box to send me anything because God knows what they'll send. I did get this thing a long time ago from one of my fans. I don't think the camera here will do it much justice or the lighting, but it's a glow in the dark Buddha Fett, and it was something that somebody 3D printed for me. Les Rob from the Angry Bros horror hosts. Les has since passed, so maybe I'll still do a review of that at some point. I just haven't been sure what exactly to say on that. I really don't get along with the other brother very well, Lane. But they were both out of Kansas. They haven't done any videos obviously since Les's passing. But Les was always a card, always inappropriate with me. You know, I love inappropriateness and joking around. And he was like, "Well, anytime you want to move to Kansas, you get tired of the bullshit. You got a hatchet man here." I'm like, "Anytime you want to come to PA, you got a hatchet woman here."
Yeah, but the thing is, maybe on your end, but on my end, there is like no interaction with any of folks. You have to interact. It helps the show. Even if I had the funds to set up to say, hey, if I had a PO box, no one. Heck, I have an Amazon wish list, and have I gotten anything off of it yet? No. It's like,
yeah, I have an Amazon wish list also, but I just don't know if I would be allowed to put it on YouTube or anywhere else with some of the things I have on there.
It's like, well, some of the things I have on mine, it's like, I haven't gotten anybody saying, hey, that stuff's too expensive. Can you find something cheaper? And I would probably put some cheaper stuff on it. But no one has no interactions, no nothing. So it's kind of hard to say that in regards to everything.
I don't know. My Rumble, for only being a 1-day venture, is starting to pop off. I mean, I think I'm sitting at 12 views right now, maybe more.
I have to check mine. It's been a while since I touched my Rumble.
I've got to.
That came off more inappropriate than it sounded. That should have been.
I'm sorry, but they need to make a deal with Hasbro and actually put Rumble as part of their logo. I would subscribe more often, as I say, as I play with Slug here. Yes, he is a beefy boy.
He's a beefy boy.
Yep, beefy boy.
But I've got some news if you want to hear it.
Okay.
Speaking of Netflix.
Oh boy.
And because we kind of brought up Stranger Things.
Oh boy.
It came out about 5 days ago, so almost a week ago. Even though we're in the midst of a strike in regards to the Screen Actor Guilds and the Writers Union, Millie Bobby Brown, aka 11 herself, has come out to say that she's officially done with Stranger Things. So I looked over the article, and she's probably the only one that has great success coming from Stranger Things, with her being in the Godzilla movies. Not to mention, she's done the spin-off of Sherlock Holmes, whatever it is.
Enola Holmes.
Enola Holmes. I'm not knocking her as an actress at all, or Enola Holmes. When I was on Netflix, I wanted to see it. I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but I'm not knocking the show. Her as an actress, Enola Holmes, or anything like that. She's tired of. I think the article pretty much says she's just tired of doing the property.
I also know Disney's courting her now too, because they want to get her, Aaron Kruger, from Solo, to be in Donald Glover's Calrissian spinoff show. And Donald Glover and his brother is going to be involved in solely writing it. So I can already guess who they're going to get Millie Bobby Brown to play.
But the thing is,
I mean, think about who she looks like. It's pretty damn easy to figure out who Millie Bobby Brown would be playing. And I'm
But
like,
all in all,
yes, please.
it doesn't say if she's coming back. Good chance she's coming back for season 5. But beyond that, she might be she might have the contract that she's locked into doing season 5. But beyond that, she's done. So they might be killing. Rumor has it, according to article, that they might be killing her off, or one and done. But the thing is, not to mention the showrunners for Stranger Things said at season 5 it's pretty much done as it is.
There's a bunch of controversy with that show anyway, because there was a bunch of writers that have been behind the backgrounds suing. Was it the Duffer Brothers that put that out?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's who they are.
and so that's been ongoing too. So it's not like it's something without merit. And that's what I think is completely trippy.
And not to mention past with the strike and all that happening, it's now been told, depending on who you talk to, it's season 5 is going to be filming or being put out in 2025, if not 2027. By then, they're not Millie Bobby Brown and the rest of the cast. They're not kids right now. They're in their 20s right now.
Right.
So they're not going to look like kids anymore. Good chance they're not going to look like kids in 2027. Yeah. By that time, the show's been out for over 10 years.
Yep.
And
they
these kids are none of these kids, I won't say kids, not kids, youngins. None of these youngins are, look like Keanu Reeves when he was playing Ted. I think it's Ted when he was in Bill and Ted, that he could pull off. But at least Keanu Reeves was able to pull off a 17 to 18-year-old when he was doing those movies.
Right.
Not someone who's going to be, at the time, 14, 15, 16 years old, and they're already tapping 30. Granted, Keanu, when he was doing Bill and Ted, was in his 30s, and he was still looking like he's 18, but Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves.
Right. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can't run a show for too long.
Right.
And especially one that's focusing on young people if you're not recasting. And I know a lot of people poo-poo on recasting, but either you're gonna have to do time jumps or you're gonna have to recast. And that means you can't do set up a threat for the next season, especially when you're gonna have a gap of 3 or 4 years before the next one comes out.
And not to mention Stranger Things is not Rick and Morty. Granted, Rick and Morty has its own controversy, its own problem, but it's the best example because Rick and Morty had I won't say time jumps, but with the animation, it's all voice actors. Number one, number two, they could do things. Okay, this year they could have that. I won't say time jump, but it could have that period of not being released of like a year, 2 years, 5 years between seasons
here in a little bit.
But
I got news regarding a voice actor and their retirement and the fan outcry about it.
But it's a wonderful example, though.
Yeah,
it's not something like Rick and Morty where you could have a 2-year break or a 3-year break between the two, or if something happens between seasons like a strike, you could take that time off. But this you're dealing with kids. Granted, these actors and actresses have not they've already stopped, I won't say aging, but they stopped growing and everything else. But right now I think the bulk outside of Millie Bobby Brown, no one's really hit that top level of success.
Right.
Maybe one or two.
And to me, sometimes you just gotta let it go,
Right.
So one of the things that I said we put a pin in, because you brought up voice actors in Rick and Morty, Well, another popular voice actor, and it's something that we talked about recently. Remember how I brought up that one of the next features that Paramount and the Hasbro Studios wants to do is kind of like a Transformers prequel dealing with a younger Prime, Orion Pax, voiced by Chris Hemsworth. And a lot of people were like, why are they doing that concept? What's going on behind the scenes? Well, recently at one of the conventions, Peter Cullen kind of hinted around. He's like, hey, I'm 82. It's getting to the point where I need to retire. And you notice how he says, I need to, not want to. And the man's 82. I mean, eventually he's going to pass. I hate to say it. But Peter, he says, yeah, I'm probably going to have to retire at some point. And I think that's why he hyped Rise of the Beast up so much and why he had so much fun with it. Because I think at that point he realized that was going to be his last project. And I know Rise of the Beast has gotten a lot of intriguing hate to it, but now there's a lot of fanboys going back and re-examining it now that's on Paramount and things of that nature. And it's a fun movie. You just have to forget that the Bay series did not happen. Bumblebee did, and everything after Bumblebee is part of that continuity. But I think what's happening is, and again, just a theory, us conspiracy theorists here, is now that basically Cullen has said, hey, I'm 82. I love doing this. I wish I could do this forever, but I'm 82. I'm not going to live forever, I got to voice the self-transforming Transformer and this one last feature, but you're not going to get another series or cartoon or maybe not even another movie out of it because you figure it takes about a year or two before a movie actually is filmed and comes out. And, he doesn't want something that's, a post-humor, humus or humor or whatever you call it once you die.
Right.
He wants it to end on a high note and not be, hey, this is my last film and it only stand for that merit. He wants it to be, hey, this is a movie I did before I went into retirement. I had a lot of fun with. And hey, here's the new guy, and I fully support him. Because he supports Alan Tudyk doing the voice in Earthspark. And Alan Tudyk does a great voice of Prime. And he's all about, Chris Hemsworth being younger Prime. Because he's like, I feel as a character he could portray the young, brash Orion Pax. And later he could change his intonation and be an older Prime. And I'm like, I'm about it because it was a conversation I had the other day. And I think I even said this the last podcast. Y'all need to stop casting older voice actors. We need to get new talent and new blood out there. And because life is not infinite. I know series and franchises seem to last forever, but at the end of the day, they're created and acted by people. And so you're going to see changes over time. Get used to it.
Now,
It's sad, but if he needs to retire, I say retire. I get it.
I agree. I agree. But I want to say if Hasbro and everybody was smart, they say, hey, listen, we know we want you to retire, but how about we go out with a swan song? And now this is my thoughts. This would be what I do. Let's go out with a swan song. Come back for one last movie. Let's bring Hot Rod or Rodimus into. No, yes. Share the Gen X drama.
No, because this is my thought process. Because they've started what I consider the Bumblebee trilogy. You got Bumblebee, you got Rise. But Bumblebee has a character arc between those two movies. I'm like,
or give it to Bumblebee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give it to B. Make B the next
Bumblebee. Goldbug.
No, Goldbug never happened. We don't discuss Goldbug here.
But in a way, have Prime pass.
Like insert boo this man.
Have Prime pass and hand off granted, in this universe there is no matrix of leadership,
Yeah,
but
kind of, sort of, not exactly, but it's
you know, but you still have him hand off that prime, that title of prime. If there's or that way, if there is the theories of that matrix of leadership in the Bumblebee new timeline, he gets to hand it off to Bumblebee, or somebody equally. It's been Bumblebee that's been the constant. Hand it off to fans. Are not going to like it. Fans are not going to like it. But
this is how I would do it, because I'm a sick, twisted fuck. They've already kind of hinted at time travel, because with Rise of the Beast, they brought in the Maximals, and even Optimus Primal makes the statement of, "I'm from your future and your past," and so time travel was already an element. Do a movie that starts out on a war-torn Earth, where the Decepticons have finally won the war, and the only surviving Autobot is a heavily re-engineered Bumblebee, and have that go back in time and be like, hey, this is the pivotal point of the war. Megatron, because we haven't had any sort of hints of Megatron in this new series of films, and then you finally cap it with some serious Megatron shit, because Frank Welker's still kicking it. He's still voice acting. And you can have like the final Prime and Megatron confrontation. And you can have like this whole plot point with old B confronting young B, and hey, this is where you can step in and change the time of the war, but you need to step up and be a leader and accept the fact that Prime is going to die. And that it's not time to give up, it's time to step up. And I think it would make a complete character arc. And I think it'd be something that would work for the fans. It's one of those things that I would have to find, it would have to be fine-tuned, but that's how I would go with it. I'm like, yes, time travel sucks, but it'd be kind of cool to do a Transformers Days of Future Past, to kind of reference X-Men, but not a film that sucks.
but it almost would have a original Transformers the movie kind of vibe, because that's how they kind of
they've already set up Unicron.
They already set up Unicron, but with the original movie, for the folks not watching, who are youngins and not familiar with the old school movie, watch it. It's probably somewhere. Hot Rod became Rodimus Prime. It was pretty much his main story arc. He was young, dumb, and not just brash as a hot rod.
And if you want to have that in there, you could have Rodimus leading the surviving Autobots, and who is the one that sends, Road Warrior B to the past.
Right.
And I think that could be interesting and complete the cycle. Basically, hey, you need to step up and talk to your older self and prevent Megatron from doing whatever he's going to do. You could even probably throw in the reformatting, but let's not call him Galvatron, because that's kind of lame. We don't want to do too many Bay throwbacks, but I think it could be an interesting an interesting way to cap it all and just have it as a trilogy and be done with it. And it'd be a great way to set up that new game that's getting ready to come out for Transformers, where the war has been lost, and these group of human survivors that are dealing with the Quintessons are rebuilding the Autobots to help them. And so you get to play as a tank.
If they do what they say, you could have that little bit of an Easter egg, even if they do Megatron and Galvatron, not the same what we see in the original cartoon movie. It's like you have Megatron, or in that aspect of Megatron becomes Galvatron, and he's the one that led to this point. Have it in that new movie. What did he say his name was? This guy's name was Galvatron. Just that older beat, Galvatron. And all us who remember the movie, like, they did it. They did it. They did it. What did he say his name was?
And just
Galvatron.
and just have like Unicron as a looming threat, because I think it works better because like Rise of the Beast does not destroy Unicron. I mean, it's a freaking planet.
Right.
You're not gonna win that fight at the end of the day. So kind of have that as a looming threat. And basically have Older be explaining, hey, yeah, because you kind of pussy out here, um, the Earth has no defense against Unicron. And I think that could be an interesting way of doing it. You know, and it would tie back into Primal and the whole 9 yards. Now I have Primal step up and talk with B and like, hey, this is how history went down in my timeline. And this is what you need to do to get to the good timeline.
Right. Kind of like both the apocalyptic B and Primal kind of mentoring young B, like, this is how you need to step up. This is how you need to be. Look what,
You need to be a
don't
leader.
fuck up. You need to be you have that capability. Don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't be brash.
And I think that would work, but that's just me. And you would have the great, awesome, ultimate dovetail for Peter Cullen to end out on. And that's just how I would see it. Yeah. Again, but nobody's going to give us the ability to write that. It's like, send me money. I'll do it now. I'll be a scab. I'm part of no guild. Speaking of, because we had mentioned earlier, because there's some things on Netflix and Hulu and other services that have yet to come to Blu-ray and DVD. I was shocked because was at Walmart the other day. If you do not have HBO Max and you have not watched The Last of Us, guess what's on Blu-ray and DVD right now?
The Last of Us.
Yep, the complete first season. You can pick it up on Blu-ray and DVD. It's probably now for digital as well. I know the copy I saw on Blu-ray came with a digital code for Vudu, so I would assume you can buy it. You'll have to look it up later, but that's available. But here's the catch, and this is what I think is kind of a kicker. Hulu / Disney has stepped up and says, yes, we're going to be dropping a Blu-ray and DVD here soon. And of course, it figures, because I've been trying to figure out every possible way that I can pirate this without it crashing my computer. They're finally releasing Prey onto physical media, as well as Vudu and other digital platforms for purchase, so you can own it. So thank you, Disney and Hulu, for making this easier. This is a whole year after the initial release, which makes sense. And maybe that's a model that they want to keep with, because that gives you a whole year of people basically having to have the service in order to watch it. And then a year later, it hits a physical media or a other digital download service. Now, granted, that hasn't been their model for theatrical releases or anything of that nature, but I guess they got enough demand from Prey to finally advocate for a Blu-ray DVD release. I just hope it's not bare bones with a lot of recent Blu-ray DVD releases that I've seen. Like, don't get me wrong, love Evil Dead. I went ahead and rushed out and got Evil Dead Rise when it hit Blu-ray and DVD. But now I kind of wish I waited to see if they're going to release a deluxe version with a director's cut. Because the cut that's on Blu-ray and DVD right now, very bare bones. No background, no deleted scenes, no nothing. It's like, here's the movie, enjoy. And
yeah, The Last of Us is on Vudu right now. The complete season starts at $24.99, so it's like $25.
Yep, and that's not bad. That is not bad, because you would have spent, because I want to say it ran for about 5 or 6 months on HBO Max. And so that's about what you would have paid for monthly fees for it anyway. But yeah, if you wanted to own, there you go. But yeah, Prey is supposed to drop within the next month or two to physical formats. So maybe I'll get off my ass and that much maligned Predator retrospective will happen. I'm getting ready to drop the Blob video here soon. That had different delays for different reasons, but I was gonna release it this summer anyway. But we're not getting into that history. Watch past
Right.
videos, you'll figure that out. I'll probably release a video of my own discussing all of that at some point. Just so certain people who don't feel they can get away with some bullshit. So there's an archive and a record out there. But anyway, yeah, that's basically what's been going on with streaming and services of that nature. So yes, we're finally getting some physical releases of things that we thought we'd never see. And on top of that, we're getting, definitely some changes to streaming services, but there's a lot of negative and not a whole hell of a lot of positive, unfortunately.
And to kind of get rid of that article, to kind of, why am I that far back? To get into, because I want to get into kind of two things, if I
Yeah,
can.
you can.
There are two things I want to get into, but they kind of are hand in hand with each
Okay.
other.
That works.
First thing is, it's been announced, Microsoft announced that as of July 29th, 2024, it will be shutting down its store for the Xbox 360. So all the older folks that are still using the Xbox 360, they won't be able to buy anything off the store digitally at the end of pretty much the end of July next year. But the games that are there on the store for that are backwards compatible, whether it be Portal 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the old Halo series, or the old Borderlands series, or the old Call of Duty series, the original Black Ops, you could still buy those games. And on the Xbox One, the Xbox One Series S and X, you could still buy those games. They will be available to purchase for as long as you got the modern console. You could buy those and still play online. I don't know if you buy something like Call of Duty, the original Call of Duty Black Ops, if you'll be able to play online in online matches or not. I think it depends on how the game operates the matches. If my memory serves, if you play like Call of Duty, it's not a central server somewhere in like Nebraska or someplace like that. It's in essence, if you're playing a Call of Duty match, somebody on that match is the host console. Meaning if they have sucky internet and their internet goes down, everybody's kicked off the game, that match. So I don't know how that plays with everything. On the similar note, the reason why I said that, because it's come out within the past week or so, or it will be coming out. Rockstar Games is releasing or has released a remastered version of Red Dead Redemption, the one that came out in 2012, 2014, and around there. The one that appeared on the PS3 and the 360, the original game that the sequel is based off of. Fans are pissed. Now, this is one of the few times the Xbox fans are pretty much kind of quasi quiet over. It's mainly the PlayStation folks and the Switch folks, because there's no online multiplayer at all when it comes to this remaster. It comes with the add-ons, but no multiplayer. And folks are also mad that it's not 60 frames per second. It's not the graphics haven't been upscaled or anything like that. So it's a 70, I think it's like between $50 to $70 game that Rockstar is selling this for. And a lot of folks are like, it's not high quality, it's not this, not that. But again, on the Xbox, you could buy the game for $30, the 360 version, and it comes with multiplayer. I could probably hop in a multiplayer match on right now on my Xbox One for the original Red Dead. I have it installed. I could play the game right now. If you folks wanted to buy it, they could save between $20 and $50, $20 to $40 for the game. And it comes with multiplayer. Yeah, it's the same quality graphics that you'd be playing on the PS5, meaning it's not it's not even 1080p. It's probably 780p at best. And it's going to be 30 frames. And heck, the Xbox, from what one person said, the even in emulation, you could get it to do 60 frames, and there's a possibility the Series S and X under the emulation for the system to play backwards compatible games could get it to that quality. So fans are upset, and I have to look into one or two of the videos. You might have some of the PS5 Sony diehards and the Switch diehards going, we could do it better. And I want to take the viewpoint of Mudar. I'm butchering his name, from Some Ordinary Gamers, a little bit better in regards to this. That on our emulation you could get it better. So if you could find it physically, like getting a PS3 copy or a Xbox 360 copy off of Amazon, then do it. Get it. You have that hard copy like we were talking earlier, and you could play it under emulation, whether it be Steam Deck, or if you have something that is able to play physical media and emulate that software, whether it be on your PC or what have you, do so. You'll be able to get, and especially if it's able to upscale to 1080p or 4K. It depends on the system and graphics card you have. I'm not that kind of guy, but either way.
Right.
Only other thing. Go ahead.
I don't think there's anything else really to discuss.
Outside of that, I'll save the other thing for next time we speak or anything like that.
What's the other thing?
Pretty much, Wizards of the Coast pretty much got caught out, or they caught one of their artists using AI art for doing. Pretty much what happened was, the artist.
Are you surprised?
No. The artist had a history of kind of, depending on, I'm probably getting it depends. Yeah, when you have like 5 different people trying to give the story, everything gets a little bit muddled. So please forgive folks at home, and Sasha, depending on who you listen to and who you read, the artist he's not one of these that just types on a keyboard saying, I need X, Y, and Z. This artist does it mostly himself and uses AI to help finish things. And therefore he doesn't hide any of the fact that, hey, I use AI to help me with my art. And pretty much Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast tapped him on the shoulder and, hey, we want you to do art for us. And some of his work made it into the current books. And they're like, that's when he was called out on it. Not so much the artist, but when Hasbro was called out saying, hey, this artist uses AI to help him with the art. And that's when Wizards of the Coast was like, oh my God, yada, yada, yada. It's like, oh, guess what? So-and-so, you are fired. Bye-bye. We do not condone AI art in our books, so forth and so on. Again, it's Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. And if folks at home, we've covered it on the show, and it's been covered on YouTube and other podcasters better than we have, in regards to how bad both Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast over the past 8 months have been kind of scummier than usual in regards to how they do shit. Um, Not to mention Wizards of the Coast is like, yeah, we're going to up the cost of everything, and we're going to make sure we sell books for like $60-$70 on as digital through D&D and Beyond, and yet delay the actual physical media for months and months and months and before it actually comes out into people's hands. So it's just one of those things. Depends on that. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll put it like that. Folks at home, go indie. Go indie. As much as I don't like Kickstarter a lot of times, sometimes it's more reliable. Patreon, you'll get a lot of more trustworthy folks through like Kickstarter and Patreon than you will Wizard. So if you're looking to get into D&D, yeah, you might need the core books. Get them on sale where you can. Get them at Walmart. Get them on Amazon. Yeah, even though, yes, me and Sasha agree, support your local hobby shops that sell D&D books. But if you're on a budget, yeah, you have to go through Amazon. $50 per book is expensive, especially with when you're buying 3 books at $25 off each through Amazon, and you can get them on sale. Yeah, you're saving yourself a bunch of money if you're on a severe budget. And yes, $75 is way cheaper than plus shipping and handling, way cheaper than 150. So, but if you're able to do it in piecemeal, like get the core book, player's handbook now, then yeah, do that. And not to mention going online, it can be in some cases cheaper. There is workarounds with D&D Beyond to just get certain sections that you need, but it's D&D Beyond makes it a hassle. And from what I hear, Wizards of the Coast made it even more of a hassle to, hey, I only need this section, which will cost me $5, not 50. And they're making it more and more of a hassle each and every time. So do we encourage piracy? No, but we will tell you, we can recommend see your friends. See your friends. See your friends. Speak to your friends that are into the hobby. Good chance they could hook you up.
I say
And
just fly the Jolly Roger and be done with it. Our
yeah,
flag means death after all.
and folks at home, I'm sure if I haven't, since I don't have a printer myself, um, to test it. If I did, I would be more than happy to test it. Um, if you're able to get the PDF files yourself, through either depending on your means, I'm going to say legit means. There's nothing stopping you from printing those files out yourself. Yes, it's 300 pages or roughly 300 pages. You could make your own books if you print them out. But back to school season is in full swing, and places like Office Max, Staples, if there's still staple stores around the country, Walmart, Target, all sell binders and little plastic sheet paper like holders, which is like the sheet holders. You can make your own, print them out, have the books on your shelf for probably a hell of a lot cheaper. Not to
Oh
mention
yeah.
you have all a lot of folks out there like DM Dave and that put out their content on a monthly basis. Like right now, as of the 20th, probably another 24 to 48 hours, I'll be getting a PDF campaign. I'm not sure how long it is. Probably be anywhere between 50 to 90 pages, if not a little bit longer than that, through Kickstarter. It's going to be a PDF. I could print that out. If I had a printer at home, I could print that out, put it in my own book, design the book. Hey, I have artists, friends who are artists, and could, yes, I'll say this: if they want to pay the artists what they were worth, meaning if you have a friend that's an artist and they tell you, yeah, I'll do it for $10-$15, where everybody else it's 50, pay them the $10-$15. But if you have that one artist friend that'll do it for pizza and beer, do it that way. Or if they'll do it for a box of Pop-Tarts, do it for a box of Pop-Tarts,
Whatever you
and
got to
you'll have
do.
some, whatever you got to do. I've,
Oh,
yeah,
that
I
was
had
the other thing that popped into my head.
hey, I got yelled at by a couple of folks in the D&D communities, like, in regards to, it's like, yeah, I have artist friends, and it's like, I'll offer up a box of Pop-Tarts to do artwork if they wanted to, but I'll pay them what they're worth. And the friend that was sitting next to me was saying, yeah, I'll do it for a box of Pop-Tarts. What kind are you off? What kind of flavor are you offering up? And I told him, it's like, if I needed you, it depend on what you want as whatever your favorite flavor it is. If it's raspberry, blueberry, s'mores, whatever. But that's my point. You could probably do it in piecemeal or less on your own. Yes, it's going to cost you printer ink, paper, and so forth and so on, but you could do that in your own time. And if you're a smaller streamer or YouTuber like me and Sasha are, or even tinier, and you want to get that foothold, print it out, do it, make the book on Twitch or Kick or YouTube live stream, and build up an audience for yourself. So go ahead, Sasha. You say you came up with an
Yeah,
idea.
it just popped into my head because we've been talking a lot about the writer's strike and how we need to support artists and things of that nature. Um, Here's what I think is intriguing. So, as many of you know, Halloween is approaching. We're actually getting on Hulu and other channels a whole new season of AHS plus a special. None of it's been shot or done yet, and it's actively filming and recording, and is going to be out in time for Halloween and the months following. And AHS, for anybody in the horror community, is American Horror Story. I just could never get into the show. It bored me. C'est la vie. Televised horror shows I rarely can get into unless I can sit down and watch a whole chunk of a season at a time. But the thing of it is that AHS is using scab writers, scab actors, scab directors. So if you're a real horror fan and you want to support, the fandoms and the art, the artists and things of that nature, you better not be watching AHS this Halloween. You better not be watching American Horror Story. You better be looking at your friends that make indie films. You better be looking toward
Yeah.
other content that's out there. And yeah, but I read about that the other day, and it just seems dirty because that's how they're getting content out. They're actively using scabs. And so
That
Hulu's involved, so Disney's involved too. So they're just as complacent.
technically, with everything, if we could have been compliant with what the SAG and writer strike compliance in regards to influencers, that hey, we shouldn't be talking about places like Netflix and Disney and current projects that are working on because it's part of the list. But we are right now, both me and Sasha are kind of like the tiny little bit of creators. We're barely, are we content creators? Yes.
Yes.
Are we influencers? We're not that big.
No.
No, nowhere in the slightest.
We don't make a living doing this. We still have our crappy 9 to 5s, our 3 to 11:30s. Mine will be here soon.
But
Um,
even with me, some I've watched a few like TikTok creators that even it's like, hey, I might only have like 5 to 10 million followers. I don't consider myself an influencer. I consider myself a content creator. While the folks that have like 20, 30, 40 million followers or 70 million followers, those are influencers because they have such a high
right.
subscriber count. But me and Sasha are not. We want to talk about news. We want to talk about folks that are part of the news. And speaking of, I think we have this. It's up to Sasha because this is pretty much her dance for the most part. To kind of end it on a good on a good note and a positive note, even though we try to be positive every episode. there is going to be a indie filmmaker, or at least several indie, technically several. There's going to be indie artists and indie creators of various people this upcoming weekend, or depending on when both me and Sasha drop this video episode, at least audio, it'll be by the end of this week. This weekend, August 26th and 27th in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, will be Four State Comic-Con, or Four State Pop Culture Show. There's going to be at least one indie filmmaker there that I know of, Mark Byrne. He's a wonderful guy. I was in his indie film Bigfoot several years ago. As per indie artists, there's going to be multitudes of indie artists out there like George, selling their indie art, and that you can support, and probably a bunch of other indie creators there. And come on down.
Dan Noakes is going to be there.
Dan Noakes is going to be there selling his wares. So if you come down, tell him that Sasha and the Martinsburg Madman himself told you to go up and say, did you draw that? And when he gives you a scowl look, say Sasha the Princess of the Darkness and the Martinsburg Madman told you to say that to him. We'll get yelled at.
And run
take
away.
Picture of him and run away. And when he complains, we tell if you get cornered by him or by his minion of a chicken, tell him Sasha and the Martinsburg Madman told you to do that. I think we're both happy to take that blame for him. He'll just give us a look and just shake his.
Yeah, he'll know that we're causing chaos. We're agents of chaos.
He'll probably call us both an asshole, but we'll take that from Dan. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Just so you guys know, there's going to be a couple live videos as on our road down to not only pick up the Martinsburg Madman himself, but the road to Harrisburg for Comic-Con. And so there's going to be some live content. It's going to be most of it's going to be on TikTok, but I'll make sure I get some other video footage for like Instagram, YouTube, all of that happy stuff.
Same here.
Content warning, beware, because our after party venue is going to be quite lively, and I don't know how I'm going to get cameras in there, but I will find a way.
But let me put it like this: on my end of things, there won't be a reboot. What we are doing me and Sasha are doing right now next week in regards to a podcast, but I will be trying to get audio content from Four State Comic-Con in Harrisburg, whether it be one panel or two. It depends on consent and permission. So I know Four State knows who I am, knows Sasha. As long as we behave, we can get as much content as we want. And I know Andrew has stated that as long as I ask permission and I get permission to record panels, and therefore I can do that. So I will try to get at least two panels, both of which will
Sasha sits quietly in the back and keeps her alcohol consumption to a minimum.
But I will try to get those panels for you, at least one panel for all of you out there, to kind of fulfill the void that week. If not, I'll record something solo.
And who knows? We might even get a podcast in on Sunday, because we're going to be hanging out Sunday.
So either way, we'll try to do something. We will have at least something on my end for all of you out there. For all of you boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and aliens of all ages.
And of course, our people from the ether that love to talk and chat.
Right.
Those from other realms and dimensions.
I got to add that into everything, so it's no longer be ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and aliens of all ages. And the spirit
I always go guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
So whatever floats your boat, it's that sort of thing. We are going to have fun. I found a pack of radio batteries that say they last 12 years. I know I got them within the last 2 or 3 years. so these should work with my camera. And this time I will remember to bring myself at least a cell phone with me because I forgot it last time, and everybody was worried about Madman. What's wrong with you? You're not answering our texts and our messages on Facebook Messenger. Are you okay? Is something? No, I just forgot my phone at home. So I'll have.
I'm gonna mom you when we get there. When we pick you up, be
So-
like, did you pack your cell phone? You got a charger?
Yeah,
You
you got charger?
fresh pairs of underwear? You wearing clean underwear now?
Underwear now.
You go in there
So-
and change.
It's I'll have a camera, I'll have photo, I'll have batteries for everything. I'll make sure both the current camera I'm using, the non-potato camera for the show, is charged. The extra battery for it is charged, so that way we could have. I think I have a similar hat sitting in the back. So
Un chapeau.
and I'll be. What did I do with the? Don't tell me it fell.
It was a work score. Wow, I was cleaning out the maintenance office.
I can't find what I do with the mask. I'll have the mask with me, so
Yeah, I'll bring the twin mask with it. I just gotta find like red lettering that has like an H or something with it.
if you want, when I packed overnight, I'll put the one of the extra things in it that has an H on it for you to use. So
All right, just as long as the H is visible, because this one's black.
they should be visible. So it's golden. It's like it mimics the one that I have.
That way we could do a whole. You'll never learn.
Learn, do you? Just wander around with a mask on, just for a little while after I get all the panels and it's time to sit down.
Do you want a flamethrower, a fire axe, a machete, a crowbar, so you feel armed when you're with us?
Heck, if Donnie's there, we'll get something off his booth. Hey, Donnie, can I borrow this and just wander around for a little bit?
We got stuff from Donnie also. I've got a machete from him. I've got a little knife.
Folks, Donnie Drum is a wonderful gentleman. At period. End of story. Yeah.
We'll grab something with him.
So
chit-chat with him.
heck, we'll grab him. We'll cause mass chaos with him.
Do. I mean,
No,
he's a little young. That was kind of groomery.
No, I'm talking Donnie. Donnie.
I'm saying you were saying you were going to grab him, and hence I was
not that way. Not that way.
I always knew you were a touch funny. I could smell my own.
Do I really need a shower that bad? But depending on what happens at the after party, it depends on how much W I've drunken and during the day and how how things fall. I might be the grumpiest motherfucker on the planet, or heck, I might just, it all depends. It all depends.
No, it's actually called the Necronomonom. And they have a version for drinks, for mixing drinks.
I'm like looking all over it. It's like sitting right next to me. I'm a little mask. Like I'm looking all like, where the hell did it fall behind me? No, it's sitting right here by my remote.
Gather up a goodie bag. I'm gonna need that mask, the hockey mask, the claws.
I gotta put and folks at home, if you're listening to this, I will have my baggies of dice and with a business card of how to find the show.
And in his long coat, he'll have the other baggies.
I'm not bringing one of the long coats with me. If I dug out a duster,
man, put that shit
in my hand. But
it'll have pins and I'll have stickers and all kinds of stuff. So while supplies last.
I'll have a big shopping bag of that will have a decent amount of dice for all you dice goblins out there. So
just look for the Just look for the trans chick that's built like a truck in a miniskirt, and she'll have the free stuff. Also, will appear to be heavily armed, but not. I'm debating
or find the large framed fellow or semi-large framed fellow wearing a baby hip sack. Or because I recently picked up for free it's one of those like baby care packs like that. It's like a fanny pack, but it's not for like keeping baby supplies in. I'm like, I could repurpose this for my show. That way I'm not lugging around a stupid backpack all the damn time. I have everything in holster level.
One of those buttons from the 80s to put on it that says baby on board.
So, in good chance, George and friends will be our base of operations during it, or Dan will be our base of somewhere will be our base of operations.
D&D Designs, or what's that studio that they
21st. Oh,
no, that's Dan. 21st Century
EPG
Shark is Dan.
EPG or something.
And PND art.
So either way, we'll be there. We'll be bugging the usual band of idiots, and I know depends on who's there. We'll have fun. We'll have a few laughs. We'll behave reasonably within chaos. I might have to be the straight man in a lot of things. So there are, as I said, there's 2 panels I wanted to get. More ways than one. There are 2
grabbing Donnie. Straight.
Yeah. There are 2 panels I want to get at Force State, one of which is the Power Rangers panel, because it's been a Long Coat Mafia podcast tradition over the past 8 years for some ungodly reason. And that's one of the things when I approach them to record it, it's like, if you tell me no, I'm going to go back to my home base of operations. I will be creating a meme with Rita Repulso saying, after 10,000 years, the curse is broken. And they'll look like you don't understand. But the other one is about the trope of rescuing princesses and all that. That's Sunday, and hopefully I get that.
Of course, the Princess of Darkness has got to go to that one, because ain't nobody rescuing my ass.
But it's stuff that I would like to get, and get good chance I'll be going Gonzo. I told Sasha like earlier, should I bring everything? And she's like, yeah, don't just for the sake of everything, keep everything small.
Journalism. You all you need is your Acapulco shirt, your T-shades, a leather brief satchel full of drugs, and we're good. And I'll be saying quite frequently, as your attorney, I advise you to take this.
But with me, it'd be Sasha will probably mother me. Sasha, she'd be like, have you drunken anything today? No, I haven't. Here's a bottle of water. As your attorney, I advise you to drink this bottle of water. You're not hydrating. You're slowing down. I advise you to drink this cup of W energy drink.
Here's this bottle of water. It's the Russian water. I can't think of the name of it, but it starts with a V. It should do you pretty well.
It's made from potatoes. It's good for you. It's low carb. And later that day, Al's wondering why you have to wheel me out with the handshake.
I found this handle of stuff that's named after a 90s band, and it looks clear, so I think it's safe. It strips paint.
It'll probably be one of the few times that I'll be that night. It'll probably be one of the few times I'm actually drinking beer. So,
beer.
Beer.
But anyways, yes.
Anywho,
stay tuned for live content. We'll, like I said, I'll make sure I throw something on TikTok. I know it's been a while since it's been on TikTok. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Same with me. It's been almost a year since I posted, or several months since I posted something on TikTok. Yeah. I'll do something this week.
And then I'll make sure we get some content for OnlyFans and YouTube. Probably whatever I can get for the after party will be OnlyFans.
I would probably have to use my cell phone for that. Any content for if after party, depending on what's going on. Just that I would say thankfully, I don't have D&D tonight, so after recording this, I'll wander up to the store, get a few items, and when I wander back, it'll be trying to work on either editing this episode or clipping out last week's episode to post up. And I have one video to post up right before. That's the unboxing of the book I got the other day, and that will go up like right before the weekend. So everything, when people pick up the cards at 4-State and so forth and so on, they'll be able to at least have videos on at least my YouTube channel to recent videos to watch, and they'll have recent audio stuff to listen to also. To let Sasha know, I'll be posting the audio version of this closer to Friday, and I'll post a kind of a lost media type episode on either tonight or Monday. That way there's 2 big episodes this week. I just want something, our fresh recent episode, closer to 4-State for the folks instead of something really far back in the week.
So this
That way,
raw and edited one will obviously go to OnlyFans first. If you're not in my OnlyFans, please hop on for that free 30-day trial. I don't have any limit or cap put on that, so take advantage of it. And as soon as I see you enroll, because I check it at least 2 or 3 times a week, I'll make sure that you basically can get a even cheaper membership if you decide to go with that after that 30-day trial is up. Outside of that, anything else you need to add or anything you want to plug before we go?
No, just check out the audio stuff that I have up on our end of things, as always, because there are a few days of the week that we don't, at least I don't get any listens up through Podbean or the usual band of platforms. I know, check out the YouTube channel, what I have up. I know it's just a lot of clips and the unedited stuff that we put out in regards to the show. So we do have a back catalog ranging from a lot of stuff over the years. Podbean is on all platforms, whether it be iOS or Android, and you go back on my platform and hear the cringeworthy stuff from 8 years ago. So check us out. Feel free to download.
First, everything's gonna suck.
It always
it don't matter, like my first video on YouTube, not the greatest. I even did a remake of it, and even the remake I feel is not the greatest. As artists, we're always improving. Scared about my first film, but we'll see how that goes. Even though I've made plenty of mini features for a certain festival that'll remain unnamed. Future video for that.
Yeah, it began for the folks at home. It begins with B and rhymes with Rob.
Yeah, but your first is always going to suck, so don't sweat it. It's part of your history. If you can't look at what your past was and cringe, you've done something wrong.
And folks, heck, I know, like Apple Podcasts and Google Play and Spotify only go back, at least for us, the last 90 episodes. Check out stuff from at least this year, the bonus episodes that we put out this past May, or say if not, it was May, June, and early July. We put out a lot of retrospective episodes in regards to stuff from the beginning, like the past 8 years. Some of the beta episodes we put up, some of the early episodes we put up, hostful, so you could hear the cringe and how we started. And heck, download the stuff that me and Sasha have done over the past several months. Give it a listen, several years. Especially the past few weeks.
And speaking of, because I've had a few people ask me why the reboot title. Well, I wanted to do a change in format because past podcasts have been kind of hodgepodge, and I also wanted to keep track of the number. And this is episode 22, which, wow, of just the reboot. And that's because we're doing a cast pretty much at least once a week, aside from times where I was ill or something of that nature.
Right.
So you get at least a bare minimum 3 or 4 episodes a week. Whereas in the past you didn't, and it was a change in format. I wanted to
And
kind of
not
have that
and not to
slice of
mention
life.
on
Yeah,
not to mention on my end, the reason why me and Sasha teamed up is because at the time when we started this, the reboot, rehash, repost, call it what you want. Uh, I was going through burnout. I needed new content. I need something. I needed doing things solo is rough. Sometimes you need another person to bounce things
yeah,
off of. Sometimes you need somebody like to take up the devil's advocate side of things. And even though they agree, sometimes you need somebody to have that, what about this? And take that opposite side. And when Sasha wanted to do the reboot, and it was the perfect match. Like, I need to get out of the slump. I need to get, new content up. It was a mutual agreement of, hey, let's share, let's, team up, and maybe we could have that rising tide lift all ships, so to speak.
exactly.
Uh,
And it gives you somebody, like you said, to bounce off of, and it gives you more slice of life content. Because as my OnlyFans have been saying, they're like, we really love this stuff at the beginning of the show because you're seeing how the episode's getting set up. You're seeing like things that you could talk about, but you don't really talk about. Because anybody who's watched, and yes, last week's edited episode is up on my YouTube right now. You get a little taste of the behind the scenes in the first couple minutes of the episode. Then it kind of cuts to the logo and credits. And then we go into, hey, Lumser, there's a lot of shit you guys are missing if you're not on my OnlyFans or listening to Lumser's audio only podcast. That's the only
and
place you're going to get the full deal of meal. And so, yeah, make sure you're looking at both outlets.
and the thing is, with the pre-show, when you hear it first on the audio side, is that we work out topics prior to hand, not just it's pretty much the rough cut of what we talk about in show. It's sometimes like last week, if you hear the audio version, we talk about, Keith David replacing Lance Riddick, and we kind of go into the topic a little bit. It's kind of a rough cut. Then when the episode starts, it's more refined. We shorten it, we extend it, or what have you. It all depends, because it's a habit of, at least on my end, we have show ADHD and we get
Yeah, we
distracted.
have tangents.
Yeah,
We
we have.
have, and
So
you get that little beginning, you get the tangent, and you get extra stuff. Like we kind of went on a bit of a Godzilla dip last episode. Not was it last episode or the episode
yeah,
before that?
yeah, last episode.
Well, we kind of touched on Godzilla, and if you listen to my version of the cast after it's been edited, that's completely gone. There's certain things, even Hellraiser, a little bit we dipped into, and if you're not listening to it on the other platforms or the audio only, you're missing out.
That's
And
why I wait, or at least I've been waiting a week to post the unedited video on. Yeah, you get it audio, but if you want to see the video unedited stuff, yeah, you see it first on Sasha's end. But that's why the clips and sometimes the full unedited stuff you'll see on my channel later. So it's there.
yep, and
It's
there's some
later.
gags that you're not going to get unless, of course, you're watching
Right.
a full episode.
Or listening, or so forth and so on.
Especially when we
Because
bring up about like how he's constantly getting labeled with adult content because of me and inappropriate hand gestures and God knows what else.
and a lot of folks, like we've had in the past, saying, well, Sasha is trouble. Yeah, Grant, if she's trouble, good. Maybe it would be hate watch, get more views in.
And
Get
you
more,
know what? On the road to basically 4-state, I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I want to discuss that in more detail. Because recently, Al and I was at a baby shower. That's why I've got this empty coin bank that looks like a baby bottle. So no, this isn't some weird kink sitting in the background. But I'm gonna put pocket change in it so me and Al, once we move in together, can save up for a puppy. But anyway, outside of that, we're gonna talk a little bit because when I was at this baby shower, there was this guy named Mike there, and I was getting introduced because I knew the people who were having the kid, obviously, and they were introduced friends, and this Mike guy, and I have no clue who he is, none whatsoever. And they're introducing me to him. We've met, And I'm like, really? I don't even know who the fuck you are, but okay.
So,
And Al brings
Sasha,
it up later.
fill in audio. I'm going to go black. I have to use the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back. So
Okay.
kill the dead fill the dead air.
I got you. But anyways, the guy just is like, yeah, we've met. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember you. Don't know who you are. And I didn't say this, but I just kind of shrugged and went about my business. And later Al's all like, hey, who was that guy? And I'm like, no clue. And apparently, I guess he's a guy that has worked on like podcasts that have had issues with me in the past. And I'm like, I've never been on that podcast, never talked to people on that podcast. And yet these are people that hate on me. And it's interesting. It's one of those things that I really want to talk about when we're going into a new venue at Harrisburg. So I've never been to Four State in Harrisburg. And I just want to see what kind of response I get from the public at large, because there are people that absolutely hate me. And I don't get it. It's like, for example, I recently found out I love to drink at your house here in Chambersburg on occasion. No clue as to why, but for some reason I was blocked on their Facebook, and I'm like, well, that's weird. I can't pull up their stuff on my personal Facebook, but I can on my business Facebook, and I'm like, I've never done anything terrible in there because they usually close by 10 or 11. Hell, I'm still followed by like Roy Pitts on both accounts. You know, they're now known as Liquid Art. And I've had problems with them in the past simply because, you know, they had a rapist in their employee, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I kind of stopped going to that one. And I don't know if anybody who could hate me, I would understand that, but they don't have me blocked. But yet Gear House does. And I've only been to Gear House a couple of times, and I'm like, what the hell? Because I come in, I drink, I pay my tab, I leave. I don't see what the issue is. I mean, I've never spoken ill of them or poorly of them. So I don't know. I'm curious to find out. But I guess I'll find out somehow in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But yeah, it's interesting because I'm going to an event there on September 9th in honor of Pride. It's called Sounds of Pride. And I'm just curious if that has anything to do with it. I'm thinking it might, because I'm the girl who started Pride in Chambersburg, and people have ran their mouth about that forever. And it's just weird. Heaven forbid you're the loudmouth trans girl. And I think 9 times out of 10, that's the majority of the problem. But I don't know. I figured I'd ping pong it around with Chris when we're doing the trip, just to hear Chris and go get to meet out my boyfriend, my partner, during basically the whole live thing. It'll be interesting to bring up some of these incidents, like the whole Gear House thing, suddenly blocking my personal account, but not my business account. And I'm like, well, what's going on there? Because I've never had an issue with Gear House. And then the whole thing with this Mike guy at a baby shower who has worked for a large podcast out of Hagerstown that apparently has a hate on for me, the podcast, as well as this Mike guy. I've never met these people and I've never really interacted with them. And I just don't know if it's just because maybe there's a bigoted side, or maybe just because I'm a loudmouth that speaks my mind and I make people uncomfortable, so they fear me. So might as well shadow ban me because, you know, they got skeletons in their closet and they're afraid Sasha might find out. But anyways, that's something you'll get exposed to during our road trip.
I'll hear it when I hear the full tale when I edit everything together. So I'll probably get filled in when we're on the road trip.
No, I figure with the road trip, because I'm going to bring it up because I need somebody who might have some details on all of this, but not everything. And I just kind of want to see what your take is on it, what Al's take is on it, And then obviously I'll let everybody know my take on it. Got no problem doing that. And I think it'll be a curious thing. Because
Yeah.
you've seen firsthand how some of these things get where it starts out as something very innocent, where I'm asking a logical question and then a wind up shadow banned or hated for some reason. And it's like, why the hell did it go this far? You know what I mean? Like certain events that go unnamed. But it's more than that.
Just keep in mind on the way up, we might have to stop for coffee or else I won't be able to function.
Okay, we can do that. Just don't spill coffee or get coffee on me. You'll be okay.
That's fine.
Do you know how to operate an EpiPen? If not, we can learn. If you think you're going to be buzzed on W, I'll be buzzed on EpiPen, and that's not fun. That's a 24-hour hell.
I'll keep the stuff within my personal space. I'm
All
very
right, cool.
So it's the
As
aspect
long as I don't
of
drink it or am submerged in it, we're good.
it's the aspect of by the time I get home and get medicated and sleep, it'll probably be about after it'll be like 12, 1 o'clock, and depending when you guys are going to come pick me up and all that fun jazz and head up there, I'm going to probably try to be up at 5 a.m. to get ready and make sure everything's ready to go.
Same.
And it's that aspect of if I'm getting like 4 hours sleep, I'm going to need caffeine. I'm going to need coffee. I'm going to need my brain will not function if with the lack of, sleep. I can do it, just that I'll be like, yeah, whatever. You want to do
Yeah, I thought ahead and took a half day with work on Friday and was like, hey, yeah, I am not staying till 11:30 that night. Well, how's the kitchen going to be cleaned? I literally looked at my boss and was like, I don't know whose problem it is, but I've already been approved on the time and it's not mine.
as of such and such time.
3 and 7 is what gets done.
It's like you said 7 o'clock. Past 7 o'clock, it's not my circus, not my monkeys. So
yep, exactly. And that's how I look at it.
And the thing is, I get off at work at 10 Friday, hopefully. And if I'm able to do that and I get home, I'll probably get more sleep. So I'll be more functional by the time I wake up. But if I get that one person that wants to do something at like 9:45, that takes an hour, and it's like, no. Because that happened last week. It's like, oh, it's 9:50. We want to do a rage room, which takes about between them starting it and ending it and me cleaning up and resetting takes a total of an hour and a half. And it's like, really, you had to come in right before everything pretty much shuts down for the night. Because it depends on how my bosses want to term what a reservation is in their eyes. Because we have signs up that came up early this week that the last reservation for either the axe lanes or the rage room is at 10 and everything ends at 11. And somebody comes in at 9:45 and does it. I have to stay until, even though I'm out at 10, somebody's got to be there to clean it up. And it's going to be the fellow with two thumbs and is this guy to clean it up and reset everything, or else, there's hell to pay. So I have to wait until they're done. Now, if it's axe lanes, I'm not going to be too much of a bother for that because I'm not exerting myself or wearing myself out lifting
that other one
75 pounds into a dumpster. It's just a matter of hanging out, watching them, making sure they're being safe, and when they're done, sweeping up the bay and just going from there. And hopefully that's it. And if it's quiet Friday night after I clock out, it's not my pigs, not my farm. It's all on you. And whoever's covering me on this for Saturday, that's their problem. It's their problem, not mine.
Exactly. But we'll kill it here. As always, as I like to say, take scare, unpleasant screams. And Chris, anything you want to add? Are you in a bikini yet?
Donate money and you'll find out.
Indeed, indeed. If he's wearing a long jacket, you know what's up. All right.
So
Take it
till
easy.
then,
Eat
till
right.
then, I am a gamer and I'm wearing a bikini. Donate to find out.
Yep. Take it easy.